Hello, folks. I the Brigadier Squirrel Loggington here. Tonight's gonna be kind of weird. Oh, for some reason, I am choosing to play a game that's pretty much all text and choices. That ought to be a thing. So, let's go on an adventure and die many times. Many, many times. It'll be fun. Let's go. My name is Steve Jackson's Sorcery, and we are playing at least the first two books. I don't know if we'll go directly into 3 and 4. I understand they get longer each time. We'll discover. There will be discoveries along the way. Science and soy with surrogacy. One day I'll learn how to pronounce the fucking word that I coined. So, yeah, Steve Jackson's Sorcery is entirely a game about making choices and seeing what results from it. And we're gonna do our best. And we're probably gonna fail. That's some good... Is that, piano? I don't know. Anyway, that's some good noodling. I'm gonna blame the gold dragon for the noodling. That is some good noodling, and, dragon noodle. Delicious. Yes, muscle power. I don't know if we'll be able to use muscle power in Sorcery. I don't even know if we're going to be able to play this like a Magic Ranger. But we'll see how this goes. I am at a loss for words except to say that I have been vaguely considering, like, popping back on at 1 a.m. after pretty much everybody goes to bed, and just streaming some Minecraft until I fall asleep. I don't know. I don't know why, but it could happen. If it happens, please be gentle with me. I am an idiot. Hello, Jaffa. Good to see you. Right now we are just rocking out before Sorcery happens. Let's see. I sent out all of my social media things, right? I actually clicked send on those. Yeah, I did. Okay. That's good. You used to have Sorcery in book form. I don't think anybody finished it unless they did that thing where you, like, jam 2 fingers between a page before you turn to the next page. I used to have a bunch of the Lone Wolf books. Mostly I remember them killing the hell out of me. Anyway, I don't know what differences this has from the game book version. I know that Inkle put a lot of work into it. And I know that there's like 4 parts to this, and there's a lot of stuff. Let's find out if they changed anything in particular. I have noodled with this before, but it was in, like, 2015 or something, so it's been a long time. Let's get you guys down here. If it's half as good as the digital Lone Wolf, it should. I think it's a little bit better in interface. But let's find out together. Steve Jackson Sorcery, Part 1. The Shamutani Hills. Shamu! The Shoddy Hills. Begin your adventure. I will be this lady. She looks cool. She has a curved sword. Curved swords are cool. You have walked into the wilds of Kakabad. You have fucking blown my eardrums out. Hold on one sec. Okay. You have walked into the wilds of Kakabad through Clare and the spiteful Bachlands all the way into Mampag. You have survived traps, thieves, serpents, and vengeful gods. And now it is here, the Crown of Kings. It is said the crown was never forged, only found, by Chalana the Reformer, a lowly foot soldier who became emperor of the Eastern world. Such is the power of the crown. The air around it crackles with influence. Well shit, let's grab it. Your destiny awaits. With the crown in your hands, you will be as powerful as Chalana. The goblins are arming, the giants are waking, and the birdmen carving cruel daggers from stone. War will come, but you will prevent it. But then the image of the crown begins to flicker. You rush forward. It's a trap! And startle yourself awake. You are alone, exhausted, in the little hut in the settlement in the outpost settlement. Your unimaginable journey is not even a single step begun. Ankle presents Steve Jackson Sorcery. Part 1. The Shamutani Hills. Alright. We can now look around the map. Or we can actually click on our character and have stuff happen. It is sunrise. You dress, breakfast on bread and goat's milk, and collect the pack and sword from inside your bed. Test the blade, pray for luck, or leave the hut. We have no need for gods. Let's just leave. But we should put our faith in the blade. You pause to test the blade against your thumb. The blacksmith has done well. The edge is keen and draws a narrow line of blood. Outside the hut, you hear the outpost settlement stirring into life. Amazingly, that did not damage us. In a different game book, it definitely would have made us lose 1 point of damage. Time to go. Time, then, to depart. You lift back the flap of the hut and step into the early morning sunshine. On to our next flag. Alright, you have to actually move. While the heathens were praying to God, I was practicing the blade and cutting myself. Crawling in... No. Eyes follow you as you leave the hut and walk towards the great Shamutani wall. The frontiers people of this tiny settlement are well aware of your mission. Let's greet them. Let's not be assholes. You turn to them and bow. Some smile in reply, but are too afraid to approach. Others make gestures of protection. You are going beyond the wall, so they believe you to be cursed. This is where a Dropout stop show you to die Shadowgate style. I don't actually watch Dropout. I know people who do. A man is waiting on the path to the Kadtapani Gate, the final doorway between Anal Land. Okay. And the wilds of Kakabad. Is it a sphincter? You recognize the sergeant of the Sightmaster Warriors. He holds out his hand. This is the guy. Let's again not be an asshole. Greetings, Sergeant. He touches his forehead with 2 fingers. You almost ready, my lady? I have a gift for you from the king. 24 gold pieces. It is all we can spare this time. I have absolutely no idea why you would ever refuse this gift. This seems like a terrible thing to refuse. You accept the gift graciously. Thank you. You should buy some supplies before you pass the wall, the sergeant says, and you must collect your spellbook if you wish magic to aid you. Finally, should you wish to practice your swordplay, I'll go one last round with you. And he points with his staff toward the training ground. Alright, let's get our spellbook to start. One of the huts, set slightly back from the others, is decorated with glyphs and strange symbols. A terrible smell emanates from its doorway. This is the latrine, this is the hut of the chief mage. He has been preparing your spellbook for days, reading star charts to work out which spells will be available to you in the different locations in the hills and beyond. Oh, well, fuck it, let's just move on, said no one, ever. You lift the flap and go inside. The mage looks up at you with haggard, sleepless eyes and presses the book into your hands. Do you understand how to use this? He asks. Typical tech support guy. Gives you your laptop and like, do you really know how you work this? See, you push this little button and it turns on. Anyway, tell me. Each spell is crafted through the aligning of 3 stars. The spell Zap, for instance, is made by aligning Larusula, August, and Pliny. But that is not important. Okay, that sounds kind of important, but okay. What matters is what the spell is called and what it does. Zap will give you control over lightning. Hot will create a fireball. Foss will create a force field around you. Shall I continue? No, I can read the book myself, thank you. He scratches absently at his ear. Remember, some spells will cost you effort to use, but the ones that don't will not work without a focus, an item of some kind. You will need to read the book to know what. So yeah, we have a spell book. There are lots of there's Madge, there's Pop, which requires a pebble. Fall, which makes you light as a feather. These are all very useful. The thing is that I will never remember to use them. Ever. Hey look, you can cast Sus. They be cast when the caster suspects a trap. Will indicate to the caster the danger and the best protective action. If already trapped, it may be used to minimize the effects. Well, that's good. Let's go buy some rations. Because we will probably want food. Small traders in the settlement supply the Sightmaster warriors with weapons, armor, food, and clothing. You go over with the sergeant to a stall selling flatbreads and cheese. 2 gold pieces per ration. I'd like to buy 4. 4 rations is 8 gold pieces. Okay. That leaves us with 16 gold. That's not bad. You must make sure you eat every day or you will suffer, the sergeant tells you, standing at your side. Eating more will give you extra strength, but it is not necessary. These are good rules for life. Make sure you eat at least once a day. Eating more will give you more strength, but you don't have to. Just eat a big meal. Alright, and now we can try the training ground, and this introduces us to combat in this game. And I've seen combat in this game, and I don't get it. So, you walk with the sergeant to the training ground, and he wraps the base of his staff in leather. To begin, we will practice the stances. First, defend yourself against me. Choose your attack power by dragging your character sideways. To defend, stay fully left. Okay. The Sightmaster is a powerful enemy. By defending, you receive the minimum damage from any attack he makes. Sightmaster Sergeant chooses a strong attack, and you turn it away with minimum impact. My next attack will be weak, he declares. You'll be able to overpower me by playing a stronger attack, but be sure your attack is stronger. I don't know how much strong to use. Let's go for, I don't know, 5? That's probably strong enough. Yeah, that is way strong enough. You make a medium attack, overpowering the Sightmaster Sergeant, who tries a low careful attack. Overpowering a weak attack is easy, so you did well to win without using too much power. My next attack will be low. Alright? That meant... like 1 point something, or 0.9 or something. Let's try a 2. Oh, shit. From a light attack, but your attack is lower still, so you're hurt, but you will suffer less damage, because your attack was defensive. If you think you will be overpowered, you should play small attacks or defend. My next attack will be medium strength. You may be able to overpower me, if you wish to try. You know what? Full fucking power. Let's go. You play a strong attack, beating the Site Master Sergeant. He bows. You have finished me. Excellent. Cool. You seem to remember the basics. Good. Another round? No, I think I'm good. Very good, but if you wish a bout in earnest, I warn you, I will not go easy on you. I don't see a reason to hurt ourselves before we leave. Like, I don't think we need to actually fight him. So, let's just fuck off out the city. I will probably regret this later. About reading intent, very likely. You reach the foot of the mighty gate, it is sealed. The sergeant places one hand on the wood. The gate has been locked for some time to deter raiders. You will have no difficulty. The stars in this place allow the dock spell to be crafted. And then he stands back. What is dock? That's a dock. That's a doze. Dud. Hello, Ernest, and Jade System. Summon the goatfish. Yes. My spellbook is fucking huge. Wait, did I just slip past it? No. Ah, there it is. Dock. Maybe used to open any locked door. The spell will not work on doors sealed by magic. Alright. Let's cast Dump. How do we do that? Yeah, alright. You weave the spell. Thank you. One by one, the great tumblers of the door begin to creak and groan and shitpost about you. Then the hinges turn with a noise like hail on a canvas roof. These gates have not opened since our last champion was lost, the sergeant says. I wish you more luck than he. Perhaps you will even meet him on your travels. I fear he is dead. If I overtake him, he's too slow. But that does not concern me. Let's have a little bit of an arrogance. We can be Sonic if we want to. The Site Master nods, peering at something on the horizon. I believe he is returning, but transformed. I hope you do not meet the same fate. He claps you on the shoulder. If your next champion is a werewolf, that fucking rules.
Look! Dragon!
Maybe?
Look, dragon!
Hold on.
Big! Strong!
I gotta... Yeah, the dragon alert is a little off-center or something. I gotta, adjust it. There we go. Make it a little bigger. That'll do. Okay. Let's enter the gate. Oh, I can't make like a... Okay. Together you step into the shadow of the wall. One last word. When you have the crown, find the highest point you can find. We will be watching. Watching from where? From here. The Site Master warriors are selected from birth for their incredible powers of telescopic vision. You do not know how far you can see. Tell me what lies ahead. This path leads first to Cantapani, a settlement of traders, though Most are rogues and thieves. You should be there before the sun has reached its peak. From there, 3 routes lead on to Christiani, but no single route is safe. Kakabad is a land of devils. And beyond Kare? I cannot see so far. But once you have crossed the city port of traps, you will enter the backlands. They say day and night there are controlled by forces other than the sun. And from Kare too, your progress will be watched. It is time to go. You thank him, you pass through the gate. The faces of the folks watching your departure reveal the hopes that rest on you and your quest. The early morning air is crisp, and the rising sun paints the slopes in shades of peaceful beauty, concealing the evil that lies ahead. Well, we're off. We're on our way. Now let's go back. Okay, we can't. So, okay. I'm zooming out. Here's the map. And, like, I've played game books before. So, even though it looks like the smartest thing to do is take a straight shot up the road to Kare. I think what we ought to do is, try to get as far out of the way as possible. Check all the hidden corners for loot, and, that's where all the murder will be. That's the thing, though! We gotta go find the murder! We gotta confront it. Oh, straight up the middle? Yeah. Probably. There's probably a dude, like, on the road right here waiting for us. But I think we gotta, loop around here. There's something up here, I know it. There's a place called the Crystal Waterfall. That place has got some shit. You gotta be sure of it. Anyway. Out the gate. The path winds through slopes of wild scrubland. The countryside is deserted, and the eerie silence is broken only by the cawing of the occasional crow. There is a spell for hearing what they say, but you do not have the equipment it requires. The birds appear to pause in the air to examine you as they pass. Stupid creatures, they pose no threat, so you ignore them. Well, we're a dick. Barely an hour beyond the wall, and the air begins to grow foul. The Shamutani hills are infested with the pestilence of the Bachlands. It saps the energy from your body, leaving you feeling nauseous and weak. Cover your mouth when you're in bad air. Masked up. You cover your mouth with your neck scarf, but it does no good. They warned you of this. You will grow accustomed to it the longer you are out here, but for the moment you must be very careful. Your maximum stamina has decreased. If this reaches 0, you'll be too tired to carry on. Stamina can be regained up to the maximum by eating rations or resting. So, because the air out here sucks, we're weak. That's great. We got teased with power and it has been taken away. Let's see. We can travel cross-country or go over a low rise. I say we travel cross-country. Because the only thing over here is a village, and that's where they'll be expecting us to go. The path through Cantapani is long and winding and will lose you a day. Instead, you turn off the path and strike north through the knee-high grass. The journey starts with a stiff climb that takes several hours, but from the top you have a good view of a plain of yellow grass, and just to the north of that, a little village of rude huts that do not look like human dwellings. To your left, the gigantic wall looms, throwing shadows that lap at your feet. Let's look back. Casting a glance up at its height, you see a familiar figure with his arm raised. He can see you, of course, and he's standing on the battlement to watch your progress. Time to strike on, then! The wind whispers through the long grass, beckoning you onward, but there might be rats and worse in those fields, so you might be safer cutting across to the river and following the bank. I think we have to get as far off track as possible as soon as possible. I say we head for the grass. And there will probably be rats, and we can fight them, and then we will die. You wade forward through the shimmering grass, which gets longer and longer, until first your boots and then your scabbard are lost from your view. Still, with Cantapani disappearing over the brow of the hill, you're making excellent time. Find a story path that wasn't accounted for. I don't believe you can... Like, this is... Somebody should make a game book version of the Stanley Parable. Even if the point of the Stanley Parable was that there are no story paths that aren't accounted for, someone should still do it. Suddenly you freeze. Up ahead, the grass is parting in coils and bends. The parting is moving. There is something there, and it's coming towards you. Well, this was a fucking mistake. Let's run for... No. Okay, let's stand our ground. Brace for impact. All hands on deck. Red alert. Whatever it is, it will find you ready. You wait as the switchblading furrow moves closer. Draw my sword, wait, or cast a spell. I can't think what spell we'd cast. At the grass. Do I have any spells that look like they might help? Cast mud. We need sand. Mud requires a handful of sand to cast, and we don't have any. Yeah. Must sprinkle grains of sand on the floor to create a pool of quicksand. We could try sap, although we can't see the creature we're fighting. Almost all of these require very specific... Yeah, I don't think we've got anything that would, would actually work. When the spell is cast on the caster's own body, it will inflate the body to 3 times normal size. Great, we have, like, fetish magic. Anyway, let's go ahead and draw our sword. You draw your sword. Your heart is hammering in your chest. The moving grass is barely 3 strides from you now. The hissing of the grass is louder now. Almost too loud. Then the break in the grass is upon you and you see what has made it. An enormous serpent. Its body the thickness of 2 broad men. Its eyes red like stovepots, lit with an inner fire. Okay, we're gonna have to fight this rar beast. Look at his tongue. Look at his slutty tongue. Bleh. Alright, let's, fight it out. I think I'll use about a 4. Alright. The serpent's great coils are winding around your feet. In a moment they will tighten and snap your ankles. You slash out at it, hoping to cut off its head as it curls back, latching out with its tail. Its head tumbles backwards into the grass. So we didn't actually cut off its head. It coils toward you, moving with silent grace. I love how they describe it as, you know, beautiful and graceful, and it's trying to kill us. Let's go full fucking power. The serpent is retreating, but you give chase. You cleave the air with your sword. No stamina lost, flawless fighting. We win. It lies dead before you. Search it. There is only one way to search the body with a sword. With your sword, you split it open, cutting through its stomach. It's filthy work, but not unrewarding. From the belly of the beast falls an arm bone with a skeletal hand attached, and in the grip of the hand is a small bag of coins. Hey, take the money. You lift the gold from the palm, then snatch your hand back quickly. You've been burned by the stomach acid that has soaked through the leather of the bag. Take the coins, not the bag. More carefully this time, you knock the coins free from the bag with the tip of your sword. Sparing a little of your water, you wash them clean, then slip the coins into your purse, and that is a long enough pause. You leave the serpent for the crows and make your way forward through the lengthening grass, wiping your sword as you go. Yeah, actual lore for why a creature has gold. It ate somebody. You head onwards into the tall grass, which gets taller and taller. The ground seems to slip away, but the plants are just as tall. Soon you can no longer see the wall above the nodding stems. A few paces later, you cannot see the way ahead at all. Well, I didn't wade into this field of grass to turn around and leave, so we're gonna keep going. There is no point turning back. Grass cannot hurt you. You push onward, but which way? Use the shadow as a compass, follow the rising ground, follow the level ground, or cast a spell. We wanted to go uphill. This way, I think. So... let's try the rising ground. You follow the line of the rising ground as best you can, making your way back up the hill. After a while, the grass begins to shorten, the going becomes much easier. Finally, after many hours, you find yourself back beside the body of the serpent. Okay, well, you have wasted several hours walking through the grass. You must now go a different way and try to make up time. Okay. So, have I mentioned that I haven't played this one before? Because I have not played this before. Even in a game book, I'm fucking lost, man. You crest the rise, heading roughly north towards the riverbank, where you should be able to pick up the path once more and make faster progress. As you head down the hillside toward the riverbank, you spy movement in the distance. Something is happening at the water's edge. Something's always happening at the water's edge. Let's just keep going. You stride on through the grass. Whatever is there, you will meet it boldly. After an hour more walking, the movement by the river has resolved itself a little. There are 3 figures moving around by the water, perhaps fishing, but there is something quite strange about them. Well, I didn't come through the grass and fuck up and go back uphill and then come back here just to go over this way. So let's go say hi to these weirdos. You begin to make your way down the hillside. The grass gives out and turns into scree and gravel. Scree? 1 minute, please. Scree, noun. A mass of small, loose stones that form or cover a slope on a mountain. Okay. With the occasional patch of sharp gorse that tugs and snaps at your tunic. There is barely earth, just sheer rock. This place is a thinly disguised wasteland. Suddenly your foot slips and you lose your balance. Beneath your feet, the slope has turned into a steep drop and you are sliding down it. You have only seconds to decide what to do. Stab my sword into the ground, cast a spell, or try to fall well. Well, I think you should always try to fall well. I think you should, always try to be stylish in everything you do. Let's see if we can fall with style. There isn't any time to risk something clever. Instead, you concentrate on the way you slide, hoping to brace the impact when you finally hit the ground. Do not fall well if your name is Jerry. Ooh, good advice. Everything is a blur of stones and choking pain and dust, but finally, level ground comes up to meet you, and you hit it sharply. Pain arcs up through your thighs. Check myself over. You take a moment to pat yourself over, mostly in one piece, thank the spirit. You pick yourself up to your feet. But the noise of your fall has attracted the attention of the creatures by the water. 2 of them now are on either side of you. Long, sting-like swords drawn. Their heads are cocked a little to the side. One of them steps forward and speaks in the common tongue. What are you, careless creature? I'm a great warrior. The creature laughs. A great warrior, doing battle with your own feet, were you? Laugh. You laugh as well, companionably. I'm lucky I'm still alive, you agree? I've seen luckier, the creature responds, its voice still waxish and cruel. Let's just walk away. You nod to the creatures. I need to be going. I make to step away, but they close up in front of you. The leader draws a second sword from his belt. This valley belongs to the Elven, he says. Fools and traveling players are not welcome by our river. You would put us in danger. I mean you no harm. Harm? What do you know of harm? The creature responds hotly. Have you lived to see your village overrun by goblins? Have you worked to turn your own homes into death traps to catch marauders? We Elven are creatures of the sunlight, moved into the shade by the weakness of your king, Analander. The king who lost the crown, and we will suffer for it. Well, I go to recover that crown. The creature shakes his head. Then we are all doomed. A champion who can't even climb down a hillside? We'd do better to skewer you now while you still breathe. The creature flashes the twin blades. There's no time for magic. You must face him in combat. So, I think we're fucking up in every way it is possible to fuck up, but that's what you guys get when you leave me in charge of the game book. Let's defend and see how this guy hits. Weak. Now I will teach you why the Elven have such a fearsome reputation, the creature declares. Gliding forward, he keeps one sword across himself while the other whips out. You drop into a defensive crouch. You are safe. Full power. Wait, no. We need a little bit left to block. Let's go for 5 power. Enough of this. You power a heavy blow at his chest, but he has enough balance to turn and deflect most of the blow. The Elven is badly bruised. Let's go for 5 power again. You show no mercy. You jump forward, cutting down the air. The Elven gasps his last as you run him through. 1 stamina lost. Decent dueling. As you wipe your sword on the tunic of the dead creature, you see the second creature gesturing to something behind you. Wait, weren't there 3 creatures by the riverbank before? A moment later, something strikes you in the back of the head, and then everything goes black. Honestly, this is going about as well as I would expect if I went on an adventure. But hey, look, I now have a higher max stamina. Because I am a mighty adventurer who is now unconscious. Thank you. Still halfway between sleeping and waking, you feel the presence of your spirit, the cheetah, close nearby. Its form has changed since you left Analand. Just as you have changed, but it is still pacing beside you. In the temple, they taught you that a prayer to your spirit could heal disease, lift curses, even save you from certain death. A prayer now would perhaps be wise, but the spirits are not generous, and decline to help often. Alright, let's go ahead and pray to our gods. The cheetah. Our fursona. I offer a prayer to my fursona. A prayer to your spirit will heal you, but after a prayer, your spirit will not hear you again for some time. So this is a rechargeable thing. Yeah, we need the healing. Where am I? You are tied up on the floor of a hut, and you are not alone. Nearby, you hear the scuffle of many feet. Let's not give away that we're awake. You flip open your eyes, taking care to lie still. You see your belongings lying a short distance away in the dirt. Around you patter tiny feet, and a few more feet hover a few inches in the ground above the air. Elvins, then. A few inches in the air above the ground. Blech. Sit up or wait? Let's just wait for it. The guard, noticing you are awake, leans out the doorway and calls sharply. Soon a small crowd is gathered around you. Aw, shit! It's a group of Ozzy Osbournes! We're gonna die! He's gonna bite our head off! One, evidently some kind of leader, floats over to you and plants a blow in your stomach. This is for our kinsman, he chitters. He was a fool to provoke you, but you could have scolded him. You did not need to kill him. He would have killed me. Or, let's be compassionate. What sorcery is this? This is Steve Jackson's sorcery. The Elven chief looks at you with a serious expression his face is clearly unaccustomed to. Perhaps you speak the truth. You have the aspect of honor. He makes a gesture to the other Elven who approach. You tense approaching blows, but instead they open your pack and begin to sift through the contents. We will take the price of our man. We are creatures of joy and mischief, but today we will do nothing but trade. That's fair. Wait, no it isn't. Untie me first. The chief shakes his head. I don't think we can trust to your mercy, can we? The elven root through your things with brutal efficiency, taking what they fancy and tossing the rest back at you. Then they pick you up, carry you out of the village, leaving you in a pile on the side of the path like a sack of waste. You try to stand, but your legs are still tied. You topple to your knees. The elven, turning at the sound, laughs loudly. Almost as an afterthought, one returns with a bared knife. For a moment he holds it near your throat, then slices the bond around your arms. Then he turns and runs off into the trees. You stand slowly, battered and bruised. You rub the blood back into your wrists, and finally you look through your pack. Your provisions have all been taken, and all your gold is gone. Well, I don't think I could have blown this any harder. Not having food is a big loss. We're gonna have to aim for a village now. Still, there are small mercies. You still have your neck. Shouldering your pack, you start to walk once more. It's true, you best protect your neck. Alright, to the bridge. You hurry away from the scene of your humiliation, and reach the river once more, but now the path goes across it. Beyond, you can see a long, wide track with trees lining the left-hand edge and a wide field of long grass on the right. In the far distance, a curl of smoke indicates a village. The evening is beginning to draw in. It would be good to reach town before the light is gone. Well, we better hurry up then. Let's cross the bridge as fast as possible. You stride confidently across the bridge, and at its apex in time to see a man hurrying up the path on the other side towards you. "Halt!" he calls out breathlessly. Let's just keep walking. You ignore the wheezing man and barge straight past him. He starts jabbering something about a toll, but you ignore him. You have a long ways to travel today. Yeah, fuck the police. Let's go. I do like the presentation of this game book. The path continues along the side of a line of trees. Suddenly an acorn lands on your head and you hear tittering from overhead. The cheetah grants you strength, more elven, in the trees, hurling acorns. Do we have any spell? I'm not gonna waste a health point on these guys. Let's just keep moving. What? I found the go back button. Okay. Let's just keep moving. You are pelted by more and more acorns, as well as some sticks and branches. You break into a run. Soon you're out of reach of the annoying creatures. So, in this first episode, let's review where we are. We left town. We went into some tall grass and fought a snake. Then we went back out of the tall grass. Then we fell down a hill, got kidnapped, lost all our food and all of our money, slapped right past a toll taker, and now we've been half beaten to death by sticks. We're a champion. We're doing great. I blame you guys. It's your choices that have doomed us. I kid. Or do I? The sun is now just past its zenith, and everywhere a dusty heat rises from the baked earth. You begin to think about where you will stay for the night. Another night sleeping out in the open would best be avoided, but then you see a small village set into the hills. Hello, Windchaser. I think we should, check out this village. Smoke rises from the stacks. The houses are well set with stone at their bases, thatched roofs of grasses and thick leaves. There is unusually more than just the one street running through the center of this town, but it is as though this place once rich has had its heart scooped away. Litter surrounds the buildings, and on the edge of the village are rows and rows of empty abandoned houses. You continue your slow trudge along the path. Well, they're poor, but so am I. I mean, we're out of money. There's nothing we can do about that, so let's just go on into the village. You walk into the village. Young hill dwellers pass you and stare at your strange clothes. You nod back respectfully. Well, let's ignore the people. These people are poor and live difficult lives. Hey, so do I. If your mission fails, they will not survive long, but they cannot survive long out here regardless. Yay, they're all doomed. We cannot rest at an inn because we are, again, poor. Thank you for the 300 bits. I wish I could convert that into in-game gold, but this is not that kind of game. Walking down the single road, you find a hut with its front covering pulled wide open, and the smell of brewed beer coming from inside. You go in. Several hill dwellers are here, talking gruffly. When you enter, they watch you with understandable caution. The owner of the hut comes over to you. Welcome to Kristani, he declares. What do you want? Hi? An evening's rest and a drink to wet my throat. Ale is 1 gold piece, he answers. Please, sit. Uh-oh. We have no money. We're gonna get thrown out of here. We're gonna get thrown out of the poorest village on the map. Let's sit with the oldest guy, because he probably has the most to say. You turn your attention to the oldest man at the table. Whatever face he once had is lost in a labyrinth of wrinkles, and his skin's the color of tanned hide from a lifetime in the beating sun. Greetings, old man. Stranger? His voice is gravelly, like the dusty dirt that lines the streets of his town. Where are you from? I come from Anal Land. He nods. Not many has crossed through the Cantapani Gate. In either direction, you know what I'm saying? Are you propositioning me, sir? Yeah, I understand. He grins and picks at his teeth with a fingernail. They say there's a war coming, something to do with a crown. A crown? A crown of kings! They say it's how a leader leads. Without the crown on your head, no one will follow you. The crown can raise an army from the farmyard or command a population to walk into the sea. Sounds like a bad idea if you ask me, but if somebody's got to wear it, I'd rather they were in Anal Land than in Mampang. You sip your beer. The old man exchanged glances with the youngest man sitting opposite. Let's go ahead and leave before they ask us to pay for anything. You finish your beer in a single draught and get to your feet. You make to leave the inn. The owner stops you, holding out his hand. Yeah, I was afraid of that. Let's just fucking run for it. You knock him aside easily and he staggers against the bar. You step out into the streets. But the villagers of Kristani are used to tyrants, so they do not stand for it. He strides back out again and knocks you back yourself. So now we're fighting an innkeeper. I don't feel like a hero. I feel like I suck. Alright, fist fight. Let's give him a 4. Time you learnt you some manners, the innkeeper declares as he lunges for you. You waste no time and swing hard. The innkeeper is badly bruised. He faints left. Let's block. You drop back, raising your fist to protect your body. He jumps sideways, tries to land a quick jab. You block it. Lucky oaf! You'll have to do better, you growl. It doesn't look like he can do more than this, so... Oh, God, yes he can. Then the brute gets the upper hand. You lurch forward, but he is stronger, and he charges with every ounce of his strength, knocking you back. Okay, full power. Enough of this. Picking up a bottle, you smashed across the innkeeper's face. The old man's guard is down. He beckons to you. You slit his lip once and you aim to do it again. You leap forward, grabbing with both hands, and headbutt him. Then you land a hit on his chin. He spins around once and falls on the ground, clearly unconscious. We won a bar fight! Let's get the fuck out of here. The innkeeper lies down in the dirt and stays there. You dust yourself off, take a jug of ale from the bar and drain it to refresh yourself a little. Then you nod to the crowd and leave. Time to find a place to sleep. Let's not make it in the village! That would be the stupidest possible thing we could do. Then again, maybe we could fist fight the innkeeper and win, because apparently we're dicks. You know what? I'm gonna risk it. This feels like a stereotypical Elder Scrolls playthrough. You run out of money and you just start beating people down to see, like, what happened before you reload your save. Go for one of the abandoned houses. That would be nice. Yeah, let's leave the village. The cover of the forest is dark and the ground is thick with fallen branches, mud, and briar. You walk for nearly an hour or more, and then you pass a tall tree atop a great fist of curling roots. Perfect spot to sleep. You have nothing left to eat. You settle down to sleep. It will not be an uninterrupted night out here among the stars, surrounded by beasts, but you will feel a little better for it. Your last thoughts are on food. You have not eaten today, but you cannot march forever on an empty stomach. You will achieve nothing but feeding the wolves. The kerning in this is getting kind of nuts. Am I the only one noticing that? Can I... Okay, well. Your dreams are vivid. You feel yourself tied up, surrounded by snickering faces. Thin creatures with long fingers are picking at your pockets and the stitching of your clothing. You feel magic boiling inside you, but it cannot be released. Meanwhile, the food in your bag is rotting, wet through from the sweat of your back, and in the distance a deep voice is booming with laughter. The long, cruel fingers of one hand are curled around the metal frame of a crown, and with the other he beckons you forward, as if into a trap. The turning of hunger, that could be. Alright, let's keep moving. We've got to find food. You wake early and sit for a moment, in no great hurry to leave this place you have lingered so long. This is now the third day of your journey, and the muscles in your legs are feeling lean and strong from so much walking. That has never been my experience. You spend a short while enjoying the peace, then unhurriedly collect your possessions and set off along the path. Christianity is surrounded by several miles of fields. It sits in a well-protected ring of hills, and is close enough to the river to be reasonably prosperous. As you follow the path between lines of sun-baked crops, you come to a fork in the road. The right-hand way leads you past a set of outbuildings, while the left heads directly into deep woodland. Okay. It's time to reevaluate what we were doing. Because if we head off through the forest, we're fucked. Well, no, I think this is actually the only way to go. I don't think we can cut all the way north. Although we might be able to. Yeah, I think we're headed north. You glimpse a few people at work by the buildings. There'll be precious little company on your journey. You should take it while you can. Approaching a low wall, you see a blind beggar, sheltering in the shade with his hand outstretched. He hears you approach and clicks his fingers. Alms, would you, for love of Sindla? Alms? I have none to give. You tell the man, and he nods twice. No one ever does. Strange how you're all well fed while I'm still hungry. You walk on. A little further up the road, an ox cart trundles towards you. The driver lifts a hand. You want a lift, do you? I see you walking, and I'm headed that way. We trust no one. We travel alone. As you please, returns the driver with a shrug. He whips his ox, and the cart takes off along the road, breathing dust. You follow the path away from the village for half the morning. The walk is easy. Feels as natural as breathing as the road move beneath your feet. Hard to believe you trained for this journey so long now that you're on it. It's hard to believe I trained for this journey at all. It's really hard to believe that, actually. Given my, quarter-ish health, my 0 gold, my 0 rations, it is so hard to believe I trained for this. You climb a little, tracing the side of a group of trees until you meet a fork in the road. Hi, fork. You could continue straight on and upwards or turn west a while. Let's just keep going. This place is ruined. Maybe that's cool. You continue along the path, climbing. Your legs feel strong and lean. By the end of this journey, you will be built like a mountain goat. I feel like the author had a foot fetish or something, because he won't stop talking about my legs. The afternoon progresses long and easy. This place you are walking through seems thick with desolation, as if it was long ago abandoned. And then, as if to confirm your thoughts, you come across 2 enormous stone pillars, listing slightly either side of the road. Will I get a mountain goat's beard? I hope so. They form a gate, but the gate is 3 times the height of a man. Nothing bad ever happened to a traveler who walked between 2 pillars. There is nothing for it but to go forwards. You step into the shadow of the enormous gate. The ruins of walls line the paths on either side, but either wall is built from blocks the size of ox carts. Centuries ago, this must have been a palace of a king 12 feet tall. Now it has been leveled, and the stone stolen for the field walls and foundations of the village all around. Let's keep checking out these ruins. Maybe there's some food left. You take a moment to clamber over the ruins and off the path until you are surrounded by waist-high grass. The ground rises and falls sharply around the outlines of houses and buildings. You trace the line of a street, wide enough to run 3 carts abreast. 3 carts abreast? That's a good deal. That leads quickly downhill towards the forest. Once this place was rich and plentiful, what happened here to remove every last trace of these colossal people? Let's look in a house. You stop by the edge of a home, by the edge of a house. The side wall only stands as tall as your knees. Grass nods above it. Looking inside, you can make out the edge of the fireplace, a back wall, and an adjoining area. Perhaps a grain store or a bedroom. What's in the grass? You take a few moments to search through the long grasses and find nothing, until your hand closes on a stray clay pot near one wall. It's the shape of a wine jug, but about 3 times the usual size. Around the neck is a red stain. Wine, or maybe blood, it is impossible to tell. The base of the pot has been smashed away, perhaps by age, perhaps by someone unhappy with the contents. You leave the pot behind. Unbeknownst to you, you're actually a hobbit. Yeah, these 12 feet tall monsters are just humans. You follow the line of the street down the slope of the hill. The further you go from the path, the more overgrown the ruins become, until you can barely make out their outlines at all. After a while, you're not following the street at all, but merely heading towards the same line. You approach the edge of a thick woodland. Alright, let's head for the woodland. There's no clear path here, and the street has disappeared from view. Going into the trees is difficult, but you push your way forward as best you can, and stop when you come across a large standing stone. Another gate? You go over to the stone to examine it more closely. Not a gate, it is an idol. A gigantic stone head, carved with deep open eyes and an open mouth. Around the lips is a red stain, the same as on the pot. Looking left and right into the trees, you're starting to see more stones, more idols with open mouths heading off in both directions. All face towards the ruined village, as though forming a wall or an approaching army. Something terrible happened here. Well, let's leave. I'm not gonna poke around in its mouth. That's how you lose an arm, or your head, or your face, or other parts of you. You press on. Trees and thorny bushes snag as you walk. Eventually, after chopping and hacking your way through, you see a space ahead, a path. You push forward and stop for breath, grateful to have solid ground to walk on once more. Looks like we're approaching Dumpus. That's great. We're from Anal Land and we're coming to Dumpus. Who named these places? You walk for several hours, following the twists and turns of the path above the trees. Then suddenly you stop. You hear a noise up ahead. Something is moving around between the rocks at the end of the path. Not my business. You walk straight on. If that thing wants to attack you, it will have to declare its intention for itself, and it does. In a flurry of foliage and dirt, a rat bear leaps from the undergrowth. It is much closer than you thought. Its sleek black fur allows it to hide in the shadows until it is almost upon you. Let's cast Zap on it. Or Hot. It looks like I'm set up for Zap, so... Create lightning! You cast the spell and point it at the beast, unleashing a violent electric bolt into its fur. It is a rat bear. You've wounded it badly, but it's not quite done yet. It's coming for you with the last of its strength. Well, fuck it. Full power. The rat bear advances at speed, running on all fours with its vicious tail poised to strike. You will not be intimidated by an overgrown rodent. You plant your feet and ready a mighty sword string. Then your sword slips between the creature's ribs. The rat bear squeals and falls to the ground, face down in the mud. With the beast dead, you are free to move onward. Okay, to Dumpus, then. The path winds a few more times around gigantic trees, thousands of years old, and then emerges onto a sudden plain, as if the forest had been scooped away by a gigantic hand. A river trickles thinly between short grasses, and by its banks stand a tiny village. Can I make it lunch? Unfortunately, no. You can't make it lunch. It dies before you can ask it on a date. Into the village! Today has been punishing, but with a decent meal and a night's sleep, your next day will start auspiciously. So it is a shame and a worry you have so little money. You head down into the village, hoping to find Charity. You follow the path down into the village, passing a sign which declares it to be Dumpus. What a name. The streets are thin and narrow, and the buildings have been set close together as if trying to withstand a storm. There's a terrible smell hanging in the air. All in all, it seems an unpleasant place, but nothing changes the fact you desperately need shelter and rest. Your day has been punishing, and you're almost too weak to stand. I think the kerning is because I have it in a window. Alright, let's... no, let's not rewind. Let's find an inn. You find an inn in the very center of Dumpus. In a tumble-down building with mats spread across the floor and a kitchen range that fills the air with an appealing spicy smell. The man who runs the inn is wiry and looks as if he does not eat a thing himself. Nothing changes the fart. You desperately need shelter from your own ass. 3 gold pieces for hill fox broth, he tells you, and 3 for a place to rest your head. You attempt to haggle, willing to work for a place to sleep, but the man wastes no time in turning you out. Let's talk to the villagers? You pass along the main path to the village and pause outside a hut, in which several of the hill dwellers are sitting and eating. They seem deep in discussion about something, shaking their fists in the air. Lifting the canvas flap, you step inside. The hill dwellers stop talking immediately and look up at you. One gets to his feet and gestures you forward. You step forward. Then one of the others calls something in their native tongue and points to your side, to where your sword hangs out below the hem of your cloak. In broken common, the first man croaks, "No weapons," and indicates a table by the door where you can leave the blade. Yeah, look at the table. There's plenty of other weapons there. The man appeared honest enough. Alright, this seems trustworthy and we need a meal badly. You unfasten your sword belt and leave your weapon on the table. The hill dwellers nod to show their appreciation and beckon you to sit with them. Then they continue their conversation just as animatedly as before, speaking in a local tongue you can't follow. But as they talk, they pour you a drink and provide you with food. They seem quite welcoming. As you eat, you listen, catching a few words here and there. Goblins, arms, Cristanti. They seem to be very concerned. Ask about the goblins? You nerd shelter! What are the goblins doing? Are they being armed by villagers? The men shake their heads. Slowly, you piece together the story. The group seem quite sure that a horde of goblins are planning an attack on Cristanti, which is apparently one of the wealthiest spots in the hills. They're discussing whether it might be worth helping the village to defend itself, which might mean they're offered some kind of reward. I think we should always tell people they should help. I mean, what does it lose us? You must help them. Cristante, it does not help us. They are rich, we are poor. Yeah, but they'll be in your debt. The men nod, swayed by your ruthless logic. And you? How do you fight? One man asks you. I help those who need it. If they'll ever help me. The men nod. Let the goblins attack tonight, they cheer. We will use your strength. I'm so smart! We're gonna die. The evening draws to a close. The men thank you for your counsel and leave one by one. Let's leave town. With the sun setting at the horizon, You head out of Dumpus. A little way beyond the village, you climb up into some woodland near a burbling spring. It is peaceful here, sheltered from the wind by trees to one side and mountains on the other. Let's make camp here. This is as good as we're getting. You walk on till you pass a suitable spot in the woods to make your camp. A crack between two large upright stones with a dirt clearing behind it. You throw your possessions through and then squeeze in after them. There is enough space to stretch out fully. You should have a peaceful night here. You settle down with your head on your pack to rest. You dream strange dreams as you sleep. It seems as though you wander through doors and hallways built 10, 20 times your height. You are an insect, and the hills over which you walk are the follicles of hair on the shaved chin of a giant. Storms of hot, fetid breath seem to sweep across you, threatening to blow you down into hell. Overhead, you fancy you can hear the flap of giant wings. The birdmen came for the crown. Perhaps before this journey finished, they will come for you. Oh man, we don't want to wake up as Gregor Samsa. We want to wake up as Gregor Samosa. We want to wake up stuffed with, like, peas and stuff. You wake early, gather your belongings, and head off once more down the trail. After another hour or so, the way branches. One path heading up in the hill, the other turning downhill and along one side of a barren, stony ridge. Oh hey, we can head towards these mines that'll probably kill us. Let's check out the mines. You follow a meandering path along the side of the hill for most of the morning. It's difficult to see the way ahead through the tree line, but you trust the course. And eventually the path bursts out onto a narrow stone ledge, high above the valley floor. The ledge leads left and right. There is no way forward. Okay. Getting to your feet once more, you take a moment to find your balance before moving on. One slip here and you'll fall a long way down. Let's go down the valley. You make your way along the stone ledge. The angle is steep and it's hard not to stumble. At the valley floor is a dried-up river, covered in worn stones owned by water that is long gone. Small caves open up in the rock face nearby, with rusted machinery abandoned outside. There was mining here once, but it must have been a long time ago. A wider track leads up the far slope. Now, we've been talking about these mines since I saw them, but let's look around first. You pause for a moment to recover your breath and look around. The riverbed? You look down at the riverbed. Nothing but a carpet of stones. Ooh, pebbles. Sand, maybe. Let's grab some. You choose 3 nice round pebbles and stash them in your backpack. Heavy to carry, but useful. Yes, we've replaced our food with rocks. Let's see if we notice. Anyway, the spellbook says that we need pebbles for, what was it? Pop. A potent spell which calls for great mental concentration. Cast on small pebbles which will explode when thrown. These explosions create great force as well as a loud bang. Excellent. We now have explosives. Bonnie, my pebbles! Look at the machinery. You walk for a while between the ancient machines that lift out of the mud beside the riverbed. Gigantic hoppers, now bronze with rust, with huge spiked wheels on their sides and chutes leading between them, now thick with bindweed, slugs, and mud. Whatever these machines were for, they have not worked in decades, maybe even centuries. So we're kind of post-industrial. That's interesting. Anyway, I've wanted to look into these mines since we started the game, because I'm sure there's some kind of treasure in here. You approach the mine entrance. A wet wind greets you from the depths. The mine shaft must lead somewhere. But it is pitch dark. There are no torches. And you do not have any light of your own. That's fine. That's fine. It's dark. We're likely to be eaten by a grill. You stride further inside until the wet rock is above you, and the air falls suddenly cold and still. Your breath echoes. Tight, dark places are often fearsome. And though the rock walls here were carved with axes, there is still something wild and harrowing about this place. Your feet crunch on the gravel floor. Do we have a spell for light? Hold on. Do we have a spell for light? I don't know if we have a spell for light. I don't think we do. Yeah, these spells, they're all 3 letters, because we have to pick them off a chart. But I do not see anything that looks like a spell for light. So... Ow! Yeah, ow! How do you do that? Maybe we should cast How. Can we cast How? H-O-W. Yeah, we can. Find safe passage. You cast a spell and wait to find how you can escape the mind. The answer when it comes is obvious. You must turn around and go back into the sunlight. That was a good use of a stamina point. Let's go further in. You go a little further into the dark, feeling your way along the right wall. Then you hear something. A deep, resounding growl. The walls shake. There's a scrape of claws on stone. And another noise like fluttering, beating sails, as though a ship fought against a gale. Something is rushing toward you. You turn to run, but you cannot move your legs quickly enough. Sharp talons gash into your back and you fall. You have been killed in the darkness. Well, what do you know? We were eaten by a grue! Okay, so... we can rewind... Thank you for that. Thank you for the screen. We can rewind to pretty much anywhere, I think. And I think where we all went wrong was way back here in the long grass. When we decided to, go uphill instead of downhill. So what if we went back to that moment? Okay, wait a minute. Okay, we have to do the snake fight again. So... can I cast... Is there any spell that might... I could try to cast Doze on it. Put it to sleep. Or I could, I could cast Law and make it fuck off. What are my options for magic? Let's find out. Big, more power? Maybe. Can I cast a Law on it? Hit it with the old Lawful Good. No, I don't have an L available. Wait. No, that's the last letter. What is D? What starts with a D? Dock? I don't need to open a door. Maybe wall. Maybe wall could work. Is that an option? Yeah. You launch the enchantment, throwing up a colossal invisible barrier between you and the thing in the grass. Just in time. For a moment later, a colossal serpent rears up, its fangs going wide for your throat. But as it leaps, it strikes the wall and falls backward for a moment stunned. From your side of the wall, there's little you can do but watch and wait to see what it will do. The wall will disappear eventually, and the snake will be weaker but angrier than ever. Okay, let's just go. And you know, that puts us right back where we were before. No, I want to go through the... I guess we're going to have to fight this snake. Because I don't want to go over to the river and deal with the elves, because they will beat us up and take all our money and food. I guess if I'm going to cast anything, it has to be offensive magic. So, let's go with hot. Let's cast Fireball in the middle of a field of grass. I see nothing but good coming from this. You raise a fireball in your palm and fling it into the grass when you see the moving shape. It hits whatever is there, and the terrible, violent scream rises from the ground, and there's a smell of crackling, dry, fresh flesh. You breathe a sigh of relief and dust yourself down. That wasn't so hard. Only then do you notice the side effect of your spell. The long, parched grass where your fireball has landed has caught alight, and the fire is spreading quickly. You have no choice but to beat a hasty retreat. The fire at your back doubles and triples in size, becoming a sweeping wave of flame spreading down the hillside towards the river in one direction, and the wall in the other. It will be a stroke of luck if this fire doesn't destroy Cantapani as well. And that makes me go back to the path. So, that is a stupid option. Let's not take it. Let's just sword fight the snake. Now, is this cheating? A little bit. Had a snake reveal party. Alright, let's fight the snake. I'm going for about a 4. But snake can be a well, yeah, but defend and go all in. 1. Terrible. Hack. Slash. Okay. Let's just leave it. We don't need the money if we're just traveling. Through the grass. A few paces later, you cannot see the way ahead at all. Keep onward. Follow the level ground this time. Sticking to level ground, you make your way slowly around the edge of the hill, hoping to come out somewhere close to the river where the grass is not so long. You make slow but steady progress until after what seems like many hours later, you emerge onto a path. Alright, we skirted the river. That's not so bad. Night has fallen, and it is too dark to make out much beyond the sparkle of the river, and the glittering of what looks like a bonfire up ahead. Let's camp by the river. We don't want to go near that village. Making camp is part of your training, so you decide to stop. Better to sleep and set off early tomorrow. You stop at the first hollow you find beside the bank of the stream and set yourself inside, as comfortable as a rat in a hole. Before you decide to sleep, check through your pack. You have 4 rations left. Eat. You eat a quantity of your cheese and bread and feel better for it. Then you arrange your head on your pack and close your eyes. Eventually, you shift off to sleep, soothed by the babbling of the stream. A short while later, you are awakened by a splashing noise. Looking out from your shelter, you see 3 tall, thin, man-like creatures, but they are certainly not men. Their skins glow with a dull red luminescence, and they have spindly fingers and limbs as if made from sticks. The 3 are throwing stones into the water. Every so often, one chirps with glee when a good shot sends a fish to the serpent. From there, they seem to be able to draw the fish towards them using magical force. They are so busy with their task, they do not seem to have noticed you. Let's try not to get any attention drawn to us. You stay slow and quiet, and it seems like you will go unnoticed. But then one of the 3 throws a stone, which bounces from the water and strikes you. You hear them chattering to each other. Close your eyes and listen. You keep your eyes shut, but listen. Their conversation fades. Their conversation seems animated for a while, but then the voices fade. The valley falls quiet and still once more. You open your eyes to see the 3 wiry men have crept around the village bank to stand dead in a circle around your head. Between them, they are holding a large rock. They see your eyes open and let go. I'm starting to think there's no way around this. Let's keep I'm curious. Let's keep experimenting. Let's rewind a little. Camp here. And this time go say hi. There is no reason to hide. You do not fear these sprites. So you wave and call out to the men, who whirl around as soon as the hail passes your lips. They point and gabble excitedly to each other. One of them rises in the air and flies across the water to look at you more closely. Hail there, creature! The creature darts high in the air at your voice and cautiously approaches once more. What am I? What are you in our valley? A traveler. On our way from one place to another and meaning no harm. Well then, traveler, will you join me and my companions? I want to rest. And we have interrupted your slumber? I do not... This is, getting a little... Yeah, I'm not sure I can do anything about... That is some kerning! We have interrupted your slumber? I do not think you intended to do so, you reply courteously. We did not, the creature agrees, but we extend to you the hospitality of our vale. And with that and a little more fuss, he ushers his friends away downstream. You wait to be sure they are gone, then settle down to sleep once more. Once again, the crown fills your dream, only now, instead of being hidden away in Mampeg Forest by the Archmage, you see it on the head of the Sightmaster Sergeant. Anyone can wear the crown, he declares to you, but by wearing the crown, you are no longer just anyone. And then he points a finger at you that seems to crackle with energy, and you find yourself drawn towards him, commanded to do his bidding. You are walking towards a crack in the ground. It seems sure to swallow you whole. You stumble at its edge, about to fall. Okay, we survived. We did not lose all of our money and gold. All of our gold and all of our food. That is big. You wake, feeling quite refreshed. Still halfway between sleeping and waking, you feel the presence of your spirit, the whale, close nearby. Its form has changed since you left Anal Land. Just as you have changed, but it's still swimming beside you. In the temple, they taught you a prayer to your spirit could heal diseases, lift curses, save you from certain death, but the spirits are not generous, and decline to help often. Yep, we could, there is no aid the spirit might give you now. So that's fine. Let's just keep walking. You follow the bank a short distance till you reach a wide bend. In its elbow is a cluster of huts. It is clearly not occupied, but there's not a sound to be heard. Let's just skirt around this village. Let's not go there. It is a silly place. Strange villages cannot help your quest, only slow you down. So instead, you sweep up through the undergrowth, planning to make a wide sweep around the village. The going is hard. Bushes and tall grasses catch and scratch at your arm. Then you feel a strong hand on your leg, which makes you whirl around. But there is no one there. The grip stays fast. Ooh, do we have any see invisible spells? We could go big. We could go make them dumb. We could try sus. This is a sussy situation. I think we are ready a spell. You pull your arms clear of the tangling bushes, and as you do, a shape begins to form in front of you. It is a large, two-tailed serpent, with one of its tails wrapped around your leg and holding you fast. Yeah, this seems kinda sus. Sun? No, that's the wrong spell. We can't cast sus. Crap. What can we cast? Control non-intelligent creatures. Okay. Raising your hands up and casting the spell, you command the serpent to release you. It does so, backing away into the bushes until it has vanished entirely from sight. Alone once more, you push on through the bushes until you reach a point where they thin out into a waist-high grassland. The going is much easier out in the open, and you make quick progress for once, striding ahead of your lazy shadow. You happen upon a parting in the grass where someone has been this way before. Oh, the power went out. That's concerning, Windchaser. I hope things are alright. I don't know where you are, but I know that there are, like, tornadoes and hurricanes and stuff. Let's go through the grass. You press on through grass. You press on through the grass. There's a typo. And after another half hour or so, you reach the riverbank again, well upstream of the village you were avoiding. But as you stop to take in the sights, you notice your backpack seems lighter. Looking inside reveals the truth. Your provisions have been taken and all your gold is gone. Retrace my steps. You can still see the path you cut through the grass. If you return that way and cut through the grass, and look down, if you return that way and look down as you go, maybe you'll find what you dropped. You take the first couple of steps, and that's when you notice the way the grass is moving. It isn't the wind making the tips of the stems bend. They're moving of their own accord, wrapping like tendrils around your bag, belt, and boots and trying to pull them away. I'm gonna fight the grass. You draw your sword and start to chop left and right at the stems, but they don't cleave, quite the opposite. They wind together into ropes and wind around the blade of your sword. Before you know it, they've almost pulled it from your grip. Hack and slash! Desperately, you slice left and right and manage to free the sword blade enough to tug it free. That was a close thing. Without your sword out here, you'd be food for the first ogre that came along. You've heard of this stuff. It is gopher grass. It is not intelligent, but takes things simply through instinct, carries them away, passing them from blade to blade. You look back across the endless, shifting prairie you just left. You could search for weeks and never find what you lost. There is no choice but to give up and move on. No, fuck that, I'm going back in. You remove your pack and leave it on a stone, far enough, you hope, from the grass. You leave your sword and your money pouch, everything that isn't tied to your body. If anyone should happen by and steal them, you'll be in serious trouble. Then you wade into the grass to search for what you might find. You risk an hour wading through the grass while the blades try to pick and pry at your shoes, your tunic, even your hair and fingers. You find a locket containing a small portrait of a woman. Then you find a cheap flute carved from bamboo. And returning to your backpack, you find nothing more has gone missing. That is something, at least. You probably spent too long here, though. You collect your remaining belongings. Well, that's nice, but I would prefer that we did not lose all of our shit. So I'm going to rewind just a little bit more. Let's just stay on the path this time. Now, is this cheating? Yes. I want to be clear of that. Yes, it is cheating. But my goal here is to see as much of this book as possible. Although that was interesting. We did find a flute there. I'm braiding. A little bit, yeah. And we would need a bamboo flute for jig. We can make things dance, but I would prefer to be able to eat. You walk briskly along the path to the prairie, until your foot kicks something that makes a clink noise where it skitters off into the verge. Leave it behind, man. Don't touch that grass. Whatever it was, you're happy you're not knowing. Further along the path, you come across something else. A locket. Cheaty. Well, didn't we say that, my name is, like, Cheesy Squirrel or something? A locket containing a portrait of a woman. Let's take it. You pick it up. It is delicate and carefully made. Whoever loved this woman must have loved her very much. You walk for several hours through thick, deep forest. Eventually, you reach the riverbank, well upstream of the village you were avoiding. Alright, to the bridge. Taking it to the bridge, baby. Let's just cross. And let's just ignore this dude who said something about a toll. Just slam right by. The path continues along the side of a line of trees. Suddenly an acorn lands on your head. You look up into the trees. Elvin! It's Ozzy Osbourne. He's back and he's mad. Let's just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. The sun is now past its zenith, and everywhere a dusty heat rises from the baked earth. You begin to think about where you will stay for the night. Let's check out this village. Nothing bad happened to us in the village. Like, we had to fight a dude, but that's because we couldn't pay. This time, we can pay. Ignore the people. We're cool. Let's talk in an alehouse. Greet the owner. Ale is a gold piece. We'll talk to the old man. Get the same info from him as before. Now let's talk to the young man. You've accidentally been scrolled. Oh! You must have been really confused by my references to, like, money and rations and all. You thank him for the conversation. You catch the young man's eye. He moves to be right beside you, close enough to whisper in your ear. But you don't quite catch what he says. Repeat that. The man giggles to himself, unexpectedly. Leaning in again, so close you can smell the fumes on his breath, he declares, "Snatty cats!" Then he collapses in a fit of giggles once more. Whatever the joke is, you can't see it. Tell me about the village. The man nods twice and drinks deeply from his beer to wet his throat. Or perhaps not, because as he puts the mug down once more, he says nothing. Just fidgets with his fingers and occasionally grins in your direction. Ask one of the other dwellers about... What's wrong with this man? You demand. She shrugs, slipping free of your grasp. Every village has one. Doesn't mean we're all like that. Good stock we are. She flutters her eyelids. You get back to your feet. The young man giggles to himself, but does not attempt to stop you. Oh, he's a village idiot, just like me. I feel a kinship here. Finish your beer and leave. Pay him a gold piece. You look this way and that, trying to decide what to do next, when you realize the old man has joined you once more. He grabs your shoulder and presses a fruit into your hand. Bomba! He declares through fermented breath. I grow them myself. Good for the stomach. He pats your belly and walks away, swaying slightly. You turn the old man's gift over in your hands. It is a thick-rinded fruit that keeps well, and will be highly nourishing when you decide to eat it. Its only drawback is its incredible weight. It is now evening and time to sleep. So he can't be like a watermelon. Okay. One day I want to be the kind of old person that can just hand somebody a watermelon, rub their belly, and leave. Alright, let's hit the inn. We haven't done something stupid in a while. It's a durian. Oh no! You stop a passerby and ask for an inn, and they lead you there directly. The woman who runs the place stands in the doorway with her arms folded. Are you from the king? She demands. No, I'm a traveler. The woman narrows her eyes at you. There's a guest house, the best in Cristanti. Only guests stay. Any guest of mine knows it costs me 3 gold pieces to host a traveler overnight and 2 to feed them. But it's all between friends. Alright, 5 gold. We have the gold. I need to eat first. Food is just being served. The woman steps aside and you go inside and sit down. A few minutes later, her husband appears with a steaming pot of skunk bear stew. As he sets down the urn, he catches your eye and immediately turns aside. For a brief moment, you feel you recognize him from somewhere. Try to remember. You rack your brains as the man hurries out of the room. You have an image of him panting and wheezing and holding up a hand for you to halt. Someone from today? He's not Elven, clearly. Then you remember the man you passed on the bridge on the Elven village. He was heading away from Cristanti, and now he has returned. Perhaps he is avoiding your gaze in case you mention it to his wife. You wave the thought away. He's not a famous poisoner, that's all that matters. It's thick as mud and has a rich, disgusting flavor. You wolf it down all the same and leave your coin on the table. Do you want a room as well? The woman asks. Thank you. The woman shows you the way upstairs to a room. There are 3 other guests already staying and asleep, so you settle quickly. The bed is not clean, but it is comfortable. And after the long day and all its narrow escapes, you are grateful beyond measure for the rest. I'll say, after all the bullshit we went through, your dreams are vivid again. You are walking endlessly, the hills moving up and down under your feet like a rippling sea. I have had that dream. Every step exhausts you, but no step moves you forward. Meanwhile, long, twisting blades of grass are trying to wind around your legs and pin you down. And in the distance, a deep voice is booming with laughter. The long, cruel fingers of one hand are curled around the metal frame of a crown. But with the other, he beckons you forward as if into a trap. You wake early and sit for a moment, in no great hurry to leave the village. Okay, we've read this text before. What do you think? Do we go between the buildings again and up into the ruins? Or do we just plow straight through the forest and hit Dumpus? I don't seem to recall finding anything in the ruins, but that doesn't mean there's nothing to find. And we can take the long way around and go through here, come to think of it. But that still leads us back to Dumpus. All roads lead to Dumpus. Dumpus Truckus. So, I guess we should just go ahead and go into the woods. Let's fucking do it. Your journey is too important to slow down by talking to locals. You must pass unseen, and so you disappear into the jungle of tall trees. For a short while, the sun is feverish, and then you are between the trees once more, and everything becomes cool and still. You walk for several hours uneventfully. This is land that was never settled or explored, and very true, travel this way. Very few travel this way. In places, bushes and shrubs have grown over into the path. Hack my way through. Moving carefully forward, you use your sword to cleave the bushes. Your progress is quick but silent. Then you come to a fork in the road, still deep in the forest. A fork in the road. I don't believe that. Someone has thought to make a sign, perhaps as a warning, or perhaps a guide, or perhaps as a warning. The way to the right is marked for Dumpus. A left turn points to Aliana. Neither way seems the better trod. You will have to choose. Is there a spoon? You would think so. Let's go to Aliana. We've never been here. I don't know what this is. The path winds between trees that get greener and more lush. You must be close to the river here, though you cannot hear the water. Yeah, I guess so. After about half an hour's walk through dappled shade, you come across a well-built hut. Flowers decorate the walls, and the door has been painted with ornate designs. The path ends here. Well, hey, who's there? You approach the door and knock. There is no reply. Open the door? You push open the door and stride inside. The hut is neatly laid out. You detect the touch of a fastidious woman. Chairs are set around a table as if for guests, a mattress lies in one corner, and a large kitchen area indicates whoever lives here they are fond of cooking. Hello, is there anybody here? To your surprise, a voice answers quickly. Who's there? Who's that? Let's find the speaker. Looking into a corner, hidden by a large cupboard, you see a cage in which a young woman is imprisoned. Good stranger, let me out of this cage, I beg you. What happened to you, ma'am? You move over to the cage. What happened to you? Oh, good stranger, I've been locked up here for 2 days. It was the Elvins that did it. The mischievous, prankful Elvins. You must help me, I have not eaten. And they left me here where I can see all my cooking things, but I cannot reach them. Okay. If she turns into, like, a werewolf or something and eats us, we have the power of rewind. Going over to the cage, you try the door. It is locked, of course. The Elvins have probably locked it with magic. Well, let's give Domp a try. Stand back, you declare as you roll up your sleeves. I'm going to cast magic. Stand back, citizen. Alright, door open, Liz. You cast a spell over the lock and it begins to shiver like a small beetle. It hums and clicks as the tumblers turn and work. Then finally it snaps open. and drops to the floor. The woman claps her hands in delight. With the door open, she rushes out and throws her arms around you before backing off a pace and trying to regain her composure. Stranger, I am in your debt. Aliana will reward you. Will you take an aid in combat or the mastery of magic? Oh, that is a good question. What do you folks think? Do we take an aid in combat or do we take magic? Magic always seems to weaken us a little bit, but you like I kind of like magic too. Very well. She rushes quickly to a wall and opens a panel you had not seen before, and takes out a small box which she places in your hands with a smile. No tricks, she says with a smile. All of these things will aid you if you know how they are meant to be used. You flip open the box. It contains a small vial of glue, a pair of strange-looking nose plugs, and 4 small pebbles. You pocket them and give back the empty box. The lady has been freed. It seems there is nothing much more to keep you here and from your quest. Would you share my food with me? She nods vigorously, and the two of you settle down to the table. It is a mockery of a family feast as you carefully divide some of your provisions, trying hard not to lose any morsels into the cracks in the wood. She eats ravenously, and so do you. Finally you stand. I must be on my way, you tell her. I have many more miles to cover today. She nods. Of course, before you go. And she holds something out. It is a small bag of gold coins. You bow your head and accept the gift. There are several gold pieces inside. And one more thing, she says. Moving around the table, she leans over to you and pecks you on the cheek, whispering, I am Aliana the Witch, and I have killed a good many men with my sorcery, but I choose not to kill you today. Go in peace. Then she steps back, and her face is as soft and peaceful as it ever was. Did you imagine her words? Almost certainly not. Time to leave. You step quickly outside, and you retrace your steps to the last junction while you turn to take the path to Jumpus. I think we did a good thing here. I think we did the correct thing here. Alright, we now have, a vial of glue, some nose plugs, and 4 pebbles. Let's see, there was, a vial of glue, gum, causes the glue to become super sticky, sufficient to stick creatures to the floor or the walls. By throwing the vial at a creature's feet or resting it on top of a door, so it falls when the door is open. Interesting. Pebbles are popped. We could have got those for free. That's fine. And nose plugs. Spell causes the air to fill with a nauseating stench so vile. Any creature catching a whiff will need to vomit. This includes the caster, unless they're wearing nose plugs. The effect is more pronounced on creatures with large noses. Okay, so we save that for, like ogres and stuff. Let's get out of here. I don't know why I did that. You walk for several hours, following the twists and turns of the path through the trees. Suddenly you stop. You've heard a noise up ahead. Something is moving around. Oh, right, this is the, it's an anti-Jimmy Durante spell. Draw my sword. You draw your sword and are glad you did, because a moment later you're attacked by the rat bear, which challenged us last time. You bring your sword up to bear. Bring sword to bear. Bring sword to bear. Let's thrust. The rat bear is startled by your approach, but drops to all fours. Do not be intimidated by an overgrown rodent. You plant your feet and ready a sword swing. Alright, we've made it afraid of us. Let's go in with full power again. It blocked. So, we're gonna block to recover a little bit of power over here. Yep, that was a good idea. And now we go all in. And it blocks. Light plays through the trees, and for a moment, the true extent of the rat bear's injuries are revealed. We both defend. I'm gonna defend again, and I'm gonna go in full power next round. Oh. So are you, huh? So are you. Well, let's see how your full power beats my full power. I fight like a mecha anime. Alright, we successfully win. With the beast dead on the path, you're free to move onwards. The path winds around gigantic trees, tiny village. Alright, do we need to go to Dumpus? Last time we just kind of blew straight through Dumpus. Maybe there's something in Dumpus. I just like saying Dumpus. Today has been a short day with too few dangers. With a decent meal and a night's sleep, your next day will start auspiciously. Alright, let's hang out with the villagers. They're gonna want us to, disarm. Listen to them talk. Ask about the goblins. You should probably help them. How do you fight? How about we serve the king of Analand? The men shrug. Then you serve a shadow. The sun it is going down. The evening drags to a close. The men thank you for your counsel and leave. Alright. Do we need to stay in it? Let's stay in it in. 3 gold pieces for hill fox broth. 3 for a place to rest your head. You've eaten today already, so you're not so hungry. Let's rest. You dream strange dreams. Your thoughts are dominated by the strange woman in the hut. In your mind, she has become younger than she truly was. Flowers seem to blossom from her hair as if she were grown from the earth herself. Overhead, you fancy you hear the flap of giant wings. The birdmen came for the crown. Perhaps before the journey is finished, they will come for you. We still have no torch, so let's not fuck around in the mine this time. Instead, let's just go around the town, because I do not like towns. But we'll head right. To the bridge. The bridge is worth looking at least. If it's sound, you'll be able to tell. If not, the other route will still be waiting. The bridge is deeply anchored by its enormous stone foot. Beside this is a small, disheveled hut. A small little shack. Barely large enough to house a goblin, but someone is decorated in a weird fashion. With outlines of figures, tall and short and stocky, drawn in faded shades of wood. Some in red, blood-covered clouds. And from a few of these figures, actual bones protrude from the walls themselves, as if they form part of the structure. Whatever lives in here may have force beyond the physical. Well, we are masters of magic now. Let's, check out the hut. You walk over to the hut and knock. There's no answer. Stranger still, however hard you beat your fist, your knocking seems to make no noise, as if the wood were a cup of water and you were beating your knuckles against the surface. No matter, the hut is old and disheveled, probably empty. Setting your foot upon the bridge, you begin to make your way across. This bridge is going to fall out from under us. I know it. I'm calling it now. We're going to rewind in a minute. But you have gone only a few steps when you hear a voice calling behind you. Halt, stranger! You turn to see an ugly hunchback creature who has sidled out of the hut door. If you wish to pass, 2 answers must you give to Van Cath. I'll give you your answers. The creature chuckles and asks his first question. A sister I have, which in capacity she lives in the woods, so first tell to me. Do you know of her friend, of this cunning dame, and how is she known? What is her name? You know of whom he speaks, the woman in the cage. What was she called? Something starting with A? Aliana. The hunchback smiles. Your answer is correct and true. Now you must answer questions too. Through villages 3 you now have passed. What was first, what was second, and what was last? Well, that's not a very hard question. First was Cantapani, then Christianti, then Dumpus. Cantapani, Christiani, and then Dumpus. The hunchback nods once more deeply, and you breathe a deep sigh of relief. He gestures for you to proceed along the bridge, but calls out one last verse of advice. Beware of the lair of the cave demon's maze. For traps as deadly as Medusa's gaze greet those with the most diresome plight, who turns down paths not to the right. What is your favorite color? Rainbow. You call out a thank you, and Vankus nods once more before returning to the hut. Quickly, fearing any more traps, you hurry across the rope bridge. You're rather grateful when your foot touches the grass on the other side. You follow the path over the crest of the hill and down into the next valley. It is now late afternoon. What did that guy say? The most diresome plight who turns down paths not to the right. Okay. You need to rewatch Holy Grail. I need to rewatch Life of Brian. I think I was too young to get that movie when I first watched it. Some way down the hill, you stop for a rest and sit on a boulder to survey what lies ahead. The path leads downward, and at its foot, cradled between 3 peaks, is a village. Quite a large one at that. Alright, a big village. Let's approach it. The village looks like a good place to stop. You hop down the boulder and make your way forward, when an overhanging branch touches your face and you are lively chirping. Turn around. You turn quickly around. Hovering by your shoulder is a small creature the size of a bird. It is childlike but very thin, with green skin, and flits around you on transparent wings. It seems friendly enough. It even lands on your shoulder, its tiny clawed toes pinching slightly. It doesn't seem like a threat. Let's, talk to it. Greetings, little creature. And hello to you, the creature replies, chirping. My name is Jan. What do you want with me? See that village? The creature replies. Last time I tried to go through, they told me I wasn't welcome, so I wouldn't mind some protection. Where I'm going is really dangerous, man. You might be killed traveling with me. I've got small wings, can't get far on my own. The creature starts hopping up and down. Come on, let's get going, can't we? What are you? The creature does a backflip, gives a low bow. I'm a midnight. Pleased to meet ya. It reaches out a tiny hand and shakes your earlobe. What can you tell me about the village? Is it safe? That's very tiny, and it's very safe. It's the largest village in the whole of the Shabutei Hills. Every traveler who comes this way spends at least one night there, so it's a little bit expensive, especially for midnight. Less than enough. You're not in any hurry, are you? It observes. Do you want to sleep out in the rough? Well, let's get going then. The creature shakes you by the ear in excitement, and you set off down the path once more. You descend into the bowl of the valley. The hills on either side are toweringly tall, and throw the village into deep shadow. It would seem a very gloomy, threatening place, but from the streets comes a distant sound of laughter and merriment. Alright. You continue down the path. The sounds of festivities grow louder. It's almost spooky here in the shade of the valley, after so long on the dire road. The people in this village seem to be enjoying themselves. See? The memo on your shoulder barks. I told you it was a happy place. Jan, what's going on? Are they bewitched? No, if there was magic, believe me, I'd know. This is a festival of the young. What's that? Well, take a look. John waves a hand around the village. The idea is once a year, the children are allowed the freedom of the village. It's kind of great fun and lots of pranks. It becomes quickly obvious what he means. You pass the first few buildings, where you find a number of children sitting in the street and drinking ale from deep mugs. Further on, a young boy is holding an old woman over his knee and is spanking her. On the other side of the street, a group of boys is fighting outside a hut with a sign that reads, Glamdragor's Tavern. It is all complete mayhem. This sounds fun. I'm just gonna keep going. You consider helping the woman, but there's nothing you can do. It's their festival. Let's just keep going into town. You pass beyond a tavern and turn a corner to find a group of girls. Is it consensual? I have no idea. I'm not getting involved. This is their time. It's not my time. This is their time. Find a group of girls standing beside a signpost, pointing to the crystal waterfall. They are tripping the elders as they pass and giggling. You stop by the group and ask them about the waterfall, but they are too distracted by Jan, whom they delight in poking, tickling, and genuinely queuing over. After a few minutes of asking them about the waterfall, you give up and walk away. One of the girls calls, "Come back!" Another shouts, "The water is good for you!" Jan sighs, already missing the attention, but comes back to rest on your shoulder. You leave the girls, snickering. Let's find somewhere to stay for the night. You find the village inn, hidden under a rocky overhang. The proprietor stands in the doorway, a formidable young girl armed with a baker's paddle. "What do you want?" he squeaks at you. "Room and board?" "9 gold pieces." How much for a meal?" "4 gold pieces, no discounts." It's steep, but you haven't eaten today. "We have the rations, but if we can preserve them, the rest will be welcome." You hand over 4 gold pieces and take a seat in the front room of the inn. The smells pervading from the kitchen are appealing, but the sounds are not. It seems like the cook is dropping as much food as they're cooking. You realize you are paying to be cooked for by a child. When the meal comes, it's hearty enough. You eat alone and in silence. It seems the festival has driven the other travelers out of town. You thank the girl for the meal and leave the inn. "Yeah, I think I'm going to camp outside this village." You make your way out of the village into a stand of tall trees. Under the overhang of one of the cruel mountainsides. Between curling roots, you find a small place to settle down to rest. John perches a little way above on a knot and is quickly asleep. You're tired enough to follow suit. You rest your head on your backpack and close your eyes. Perhaps a few hours pass when you wake, suddenly aware of a shadow moving between the tree trunks. It turns and sniffs the air. A wolfhound. Can we cast a spell? Let's cast, like, pop or power or whatever it is. We have the pebbles. We cannot cast that. How about, how about big? Yeah, let's get big. You complete the spell, but nothing happens. The wolfhound charges you. Shit. Alright, you know, I'm rewinding. We're gonna just throw a rock. Trying to move quickly so you won't be discovered. You pat on the dark ground for something to throw. A stick? A stone? Let's not throw the... Let's throw the stick. Your hand closes around a long stick. Throw it into the trees beyond. You toss the stick away into the bushes. The wolfhound's eyes follow it. For a moment it hovers, then dashes away into the trees to collect the stick. While the beast is distracted, you hurry in the other direction to find yourself a new spot to camp. Once satisfied, you lay down again and try to sleep. John flutters down and rests on your shoulder. As you sleep, a strange, hunched-over figure shambles through your thoughts, speaking in riddles and offering dread advice. His warning rings in your ears. Greet those with the most tiresome plight. The rest of the night passes silently. And that, I think, is where we're going to have to leave it. Is there a save function here? I hope there's a save function. I really hope this game autosaves. We're going to find out right now. If it doesn't autosave, we're in trouble. Okay, I've quit out. I'm going to hit play. Takes us right back where we were. Good. Okay. We're cool. So, for starters, For the most part, good night. However, in a few hours, 2 a.m., maybe 1 a.m., 2 a.m., I don't know. I might pop back in here and play some Minecraft just for the hell of it. I've never really played it much, and I'm getting interested in mod packs and stuff. But I might not do that too. I don't know. I have no idea. I may just rest my voice. Anyway, I'm just gonna let you guys go. Good night, everybody. I'm so glad that y'all had a good time. And thank you for attending. Good night, folks.